China-Taiwan Crisis from past to present. The history of the crisis between the People's Republic of China and Taiwan, which are two important factors of the world's economy, dates back to the collapse of the Qing Dynasty in 1911. While hundreds of thousands of people from both sides lost their lives, especially in the war of communists and nationalists from 1931 to 1949, their hatred for each other has survived to the present day. Especially recently, the visit of an American high-level official to Taiwan after 25 years has caused anger in China. While the same question has been asked all over the world, will there be a war? So what are the reasons behind this conflict that has been going on for years? For the answer, do not forget to watch the video until the end, comment for support, and press the like button. The year 1624. The island of Formosa, which was added to the colonial lands by the Dutch sailors, remained as a Dutch colony for about 60 years. And at the end of the naval war in 1683, it came under the domination of the Qing Empire. The island, which remained under Qing domination for about 200 years, was occupied by the Japanese at the end of the Japan-China War in 1895. When the dates showed on October 10, 1911, the Wuhan Uprising, which broke out due to the nationalization of the railways, brought the Chinese Revolution with it, while the last empire of China, the Qing Dynasty, was destroyed as a result of the revolution. With the end of the Qing Dynasty, there was a vacuum of authority in the country, and in 1912, the Republic of China was established in the north of the country under the leadership of Sun Yat-sen. While the new government could only take control of northern China, the warlords began to dominate the remaining lands. While this period was called the period of warlords, stability could not be achieved in the country for a long time. Thereupon, Sun Yat-sen resigned and exiled to Japan. By 1920, Sun Yat-sen, who wanted to stop this fragmented structure of China, asked for help from Soviet Union to gather China under one roof. Although Lenin responded positively to this help, he had only one condition. This condition was that China's Nationalist Party cooperated with the Chinese Communist Party, and if successful, the country would be governed jointly by these two parties. While Sun Yat-sen reluctantly had to accept this condition, the Communists and Nationalists united under the name of the United Front. As the United Front started a war against the warlords with the help of weapons and money from the Soviets, they began to advance north. After Sun Yat-sen's health deteriorated suddenly during the war and his death in 1925, Chiang Kai-shek, Sun Yat-sen's most authoritative officer, took over the leadership of the Chinese Nationalist Party. Although Chiang Kai-shek, who became the head of the party, hated the communists, he continued to cooperate with the communists until he realized that he would win the war. When he realized that he was making things easy and he would defeat the warlords, he gradually began to remove the communists from the administration. In this period, communists, including Mao Zedong, who was in the management of the United Front, wanted the country to follow a policy close to the Soviet Union, while Chiang Kai-shek preferred to get closer to the West. This difference of opinion was an inevitable reason for the Chinese Civil War. Upon the disagreements in the administration, Chiang Kai-shek broke the alliance with the communists and removed the communists from his administration one by one. When the communists reacting to this situation organized protests in the streets, the nationalists suppressed the events in a bloody way. In this event, which went down in history as the Shanghai Massacre, while the nationalists brutally murdered thousands of communists and the villagers who supported the communists, a group of communists, including Mao, survived this massacre and managed to escape to the mountains. As a result of the Northern Expedition, held between 1926 and 1928, Chiang Kai-shek was able to clear the northern China warlords, and 16 years later, he managed to gather the lands of China under one roof. Soon, however, the communists that Chiang Kai-shek had eliminated regrouped under Mao's leadership and launched a guerrilla war against the nationalists. The Chinese Civil War, which started in 1927, was causing intense conflicts, causing thousands of people to die every day, both nationalists and communists. The Japanese, who wanted to take advantage of this chaos in China, started to invade China in 1931 by entering the territory of Manchuria, which they had dreamed of for years. The Japanese occupation, which continued rapidly until 1936, advanced to the southern parts and reached Nanjing, causing the Chinese Civil War to stop and the nationalists and the communists to join forces against the Japanese. This resistance movement of the Chinese, led by Hiroshima and Mao Zedong against the Japanese, continued throughout the Second World War and ended with the surrender of the Japan after the atomic bombs dropped on Hiroshima and Nagasaki in 1945. At the end of the war, as the Japanese retreated from the mainland they had occupied and the island of Taiwan, which they had ruled since 1895, the tension between the communists and nationalists over the administration of China resurfaced. The flashpoint of the tension was the shooting of a Taiwanese woman on February 27, 1947, in Taipei, whom they suspected of selling illegal cigarettes from the State Monopoly Bureau. Not long after, as the enraged people rose up, the army under the command of Chiang Kai-shek opened fire on the demonstrators and signed another massacre. While the uprising that started in Taiwan spread to mainland China, martial law was declared by the nationalist government throughout the country. Although it was reported that the soldiers executed 3,000 to 4,000 communists across the island at the end of the march in this revolt, which went down in history as the 228 incident, the exact number was never determined. Since then, February 28 is a public holiday called Peace Remembrance Day. Chiang Kai-shek aimed to intimidate the communists or even to exterminate all of them, thanks to this oppressive and violent form of government. However, events didn't develop as he wanted. The communists, who formed a regular army by seizing the weapons left by the retreating Japanese soldiers and starting the Chinese Civil War in 1946, began to receive more and more support from the people throughout the Civil War. As the communists, led by Mao Zedong, emerged victorious from the Chinese Civil War that took place between 1946 and 1950, Chiang Kai-shek, who lost control of the country, had to flee to the island of Taiwan with his 2,000 soldiers. While the country was under the rule of the Chinese Communist Party, the Republic of China was dissolved by the Communist Party and a new republic named People's Republic of China was established in its place. The overthrown leader Chiang Kai-shek made a statement on the island of Taiwan on March 1, 1950, declaring to the whole world that he did not recognize the People's Republic of China, that he had moved the capital of the Republic of China to Taipei, and that the state would continue its activities from there. However, Mao Zedong declared that the real Chinese state is the People's Republic of China, and that the island of Taiwan will always remain his province. In 1950, the existence of the Republic of China in Taipei was accepted one by one by the Western states, which followed the events with concern as always. After the Republic of China lost control of mainland China in 1949, it retained control of Taiwan, as well as parts of Penghu, Fujian, Fuxi, Matsu Islands, and Hainan, while these areas remain under the Republic of China to the present day. US President Harry Truman made a statement on January 5, 1950, promising that the United States had no intention of interfering in China's internal affairs, and that if People's Republic of China carried out any military operation against Taiwan, it would not intervene. However, after the outbreak of the Korean War on June 25, 1950, Truman declared that it was the interest of the United States to neutralize the Formosa Strait and enter the Taiwan Strait to avoid any conflict between the Republic of China and the People's Republic of China. Thus, Taiwan effectively placed it under American protection. All the parties came to the brink of a hot conflict. From time to time, it was resolved through dialogue thanks to the United States, which acted as a bridge between the two countries. As a result of this increasing tension, the bombing of the Taiwanese Quemoy and Matsu Islands by the People's Republic of China in 1954 led to a new conflict between the parties. After this aggressive attitude of the People's Republic of China, the USA stepped in and acted as Taiwan's lawyer and signed a mutual defense agreement with Taiwan to prevent the spread of communism in Asia. Under this treaty, the United States pledged to ensure Taiwan's security if it were attacked by any foreign power. The Second Taiwan Strait Crisis broke out on August 23, 1958, with the outbreak of air and sea clashes between communists and nationalists. The communists shelled the Kinmen Islands in the Taiwan Strait as the nationalists shelled the mainland port city of Xiamen. While this event in 1958 led to the emergence of a new political crisis, the USA's active military measures, in accordance with the treaty, caused the PRC to take a step back. During this period, which coincided with the most important years of the Cold War, Chiang Kai-shek sided with the USA against communism and the Soviet Union. Of course, everything was mutual. In this period, when the United States assumed the protection of Taiwan, Taiwan's economy showed an advanced development, and this situation was described as an economical miracle. The growing Taiwanese economy became the second fastest growing economy in Asia after Japan in 1950s. In particular, it received an investment of over $2 billion from the USA and Japan in the manufacture of electrical and electronic products. In this period, the PRC under Mao became increasingly authoritarian, and unlike Taiwan, it faced major economic problems. In 1971, the PRC made a statement in the UN Council that it would never accept Taiwan's independence, stating that the island was part of China's territorial integrity. Prior to the Chinese Revolution, Taiwan was accepted as a permanent member of the Council based on an article of the UN founding treaty. At the same time, Taiwan represented China as a permanent member of the United States until 1971. After 1971, when many states recognized the People's Republic of China, permanent membership was taken from Taiwan. After Chiang Kai-shek's death in 1975 and Mao Zedong's death in 1976, China-Taiwan relations entered a period of peaceful but disagreement. Especially after the end of the China-American Mutual Defense Treaty, most countries began to diplomatically recognize the People's Republic of China. With the permanent representation in the UN to the People's Republic of China, and the US President Jimmy Carter's recognition of the People's Republic of China in 1979, and developing official relations, the USA reduced its diplomatic relations with Taiwan to the economic level. Upon this development, Taiwan announced its three no policies towards the whole world: no contact, no negotiation, and no compromise. Upon this reaction of Taiwan, America declared that it didn't adopt the policies of both states, that it didn't recognize Taiwan's independence and China's One China policy. With the disintegration of the Soviet Union and at the end of the Cold War in 1991, when the threat of communism disappeared, the rapidly rising and growing China began to pose a threat to other countries. In this period, the US started to provide billions of dollars in arms aid to Taiwan, which caused a great reaction from the People's Republic of China. Then, in July 1995, the then Taiwan leader Lee Teng-hui received an invitation from the American Congress to give a speech at Cornell University, which increased the tension. The PRC administration, which was very angry with this attitude of the USA, announced that it would conduct missile tests in the Taiwan Strait on July 7. While the Chinese military units in Fujian province were mobilized, the missile tests carried out in August were followed by a landing drill using live bullets and ammunition in October. The United States, on the other hand, made a show of strength by sending 2 aircraft carrier fleets and a landing craft to the region upon the instruction of President Bill Clinton. While the ships were intimidating China by passing through the Taiwan Strait, the People's Republic of China had to step back. After this event, which went down in history as the Third Taiwan Strait Crisis, The parties eased the tension, while the American ships withdrew from the Taiwan Strait after a month. After the region was calm for a long time, the American aid to Taiwan of approximately $12 billion between 2003 and 2010 strained relations again, while China decided to stop its relations with the USA for 8 months to react to this sale. The Obama administration didn't give up on arms sales. When the dates showed 2015, Chinese leader Xi Jinping and Taiwan leader Ma Ying-jeou held a meeting in Singapore. This meeting was the highest level meeting between the two countries after 66 years. Although this meeting led to a softening in relations became tense again after Tsai Ing-wen, who was elected as Taiwan's leader in 2016, announced that Taiwan will declare its independence. In 2019, Chinese President Xi Jinping made an offer to Taiwan in the form of one country, two systems, but Taiwan's leader Tsai rejected this offer. Lastly, Taiwan-China tensions entered the world's agenda again, with the Speaker of the United States House of Representatives Nancy Pelosi's visit to the island during her Pacific tour. The Beijing administration evaluated the high-level visit to the region, which it considers a part of as a violation of its sovereignty and territorial integrity, and warned that it will take drastic steps, including military response. It is obvious that world economy cannot afford the China-Taiwan war, especially while the devastating effects of the current Ukraine-Russia war continue.